So our first step is going to be to find the exact center of this hoop. That's why we have the stabilizer in here, because we need to draw some lines. So you can either go corner to corner, but I find it easier to go from 0 to 0 on both the X and the Y plane. So line up your ruler and draw a line on both sides. So this here is our center point. This is going to tell us our PX and our PY value when the needle is at the center. Next, we need to find what our R value is. R refers to these rounded corners. So if you programmed your machine in with 0 R value, it would think that this is a perfect rectangle and the corners come out to a point. So say your embroidery needle was going along and it thought this was a perfect rectangle, it would go and hit this corner because it doesn't know it's rounded and it can't go there. To get this value, draw a line where the straight edge stops and the curve of the corner starts. Same on this side. The straight edge stops and the curve of the corner starts. Now go ahead and measure this. So that is about 3 centimeters. So if we're gonna convert this to millimeters, that's gonna be 30 millimeters for our R value. Okay, R equals 30 millimeters. But one more value we need to look at is the total X and Y value of how long this hoop is. This particular hoop is 195 by 315 in millimeters. Our X equals 315 millimeters and our Y equals 195 millimeters. So that would mean that the needle of the machine could go the whole 315 millimeters and the whole 195 millimeters. Well, do we see a problem with that? If it went all the way to the edge, your foot of your needle would hit before the needle even got to that section. So we need to subtract a little bit of buffer zone on both the X and the Y so that our foot is not hitting the hoop before our needle reaches that full point. Now, Bai recommends subtracting 25 millimeters from each. I personally push it a little more. So I subtract 20 millimeters, which would give a full 10 millimeters, which is 1 centimeter on each side. So instead of 315 for our X, we are going to do 295, and instead of 195 on our Y, we are going to do 175. I hope that you can see this and understand where I'm getting those numbers from. If you have any questions, just leave them below in the comments. But right now we have our R, we have our Y value, and we have our X value. The only two numbers we need now are our PX and our PY, which are X center and Y center.